6:30, I will call the meeting to order. And do we want to? Second, Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's see, first is to review the minutes for last month's meeting.
Make a motion to approve them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And abstain for those not here, I guess.
Anybody? Yeah.
I don't think Chris was here.
Wasn't here last time.
Right. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next on the list is reimbursements.
We wanted to let Sarah go before we keep going, or?
I was
Oh, you
just
want to do
gonna
reimbursements for a
I
second?
didn't think reimbursements would take that
Okay,
long.
perfect. Sorry,
Did you think of what?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think we only have the ones for Anna Boudreau. The first one is for, what was it, June through September?
It's May to September, I think that one is. I wrote it on.
June.
Oh, June? Okay.
Yes, June. Through September for the amount of $1,121.45.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
So 1125 for.
This is for Anna Boudreau, our consultant on projects for open space.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, we have a line
Yes.
Yeah, professional
we do.
fees.
And then she also has a separate invoice for mileage, which is for $61.64.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we have a guest speaker today, Sarah Callahan. Good, from UNH, and you're gonna,
Yeah.
know
I-
more about what he's gonna do.
You wanna intro-
hiring committee, so I'm gonna.
Push the red.
Push the big round button. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna keep this a little informal. I don't have any formal presentation to give, but I did want to just introduce myself to you and introduce sort of a project that I have simmering that I'd like you to get engaged in if there is some interest. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with UNH Cooperative Extension, but we're kind of the outward-facing component of the university system. We provide education and trusted knowledge to communities throughout the state. We have offices in all 10 counties, and we work in areas of health and well-being, youth and 4-H, resource economic development, agriculture and farming, and then I am found under natural resources. So that's where I'm at. And as the community conservation field specialist, my role really within the natural resources department is to really provide strategies and support conservation commissions like you throughout Rockingham County and even a little bit further on your conservation and land stewardship strategies. So that's really my role. And I've done this through, a variety of different ways. Some towns have asked for technical assistance on helping with their natural resources inventory and updating it. I've provided some training earlier this year in Deerfield, and then another one a little bit farther off, and field skills for conservation easement monitoring. Conservation Easement 101 webinar, which is available online for you all to watch, if that is something you would find helpful. So I do this through kind of educational programs and technical assistance. And one of the things that I'm proposing today is to take that kind of one step further and trying to help conservation commissions support and learn from one another, all right, rather than it coming from me, because I have some information and knowledge, but I think there's better support when it comes from neighboring communities who have had experiences of their own in dealing with very similar natural resources protection and conservation and stewardship issues. So my, and I've totally gone off my mark here, but, and I do want to offer some time for you to ask questions too. So I have been participating I was first asked to present, but then kind of been attending the Coastal Conservation Roundtable meetings. And they meet every other month, and that is coordinated by the chair of the Hampton Conservation Commission, and then Lynn Vaccaro, who is at Gibner, the Great Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve. So they have some staff support in addition to this volunteer support that they coordinate these meetings. And for the 12 communities really on the coast or Great Bay. And they have excellent turnout every meeting. And they're able to support one another, and they often have a presenter that comes and talks about some sort of program or topic of interest that the group kind of figures out that they want to have more information about or need greater support on. And so it's been really great for those conservation commissions in improving their knowledge and with natural resources priorities and protections, and outreach and education. So I've just seen the success of that and was really hoping that I could kind of take that model and create a new little pod of conservation commissions and offer that support for them to learn from one another. Some of the topics they've gone over are, right now they're doing plastics, microplastics, which probably isn't so much of an interest to you, but they have talked about culverts and general land stewardship and how do you engage your communities? At what level do you have your community engagement? They even had one, people are talking about their websites and how they engage their communities using kind of online platforms and how that has worked out for them. So everyone has been different. And it offers you to kind of collaborate potentially with nearby towns and also kind of connect with conservation commissions nearby. So that is my plan or my hope. And right now I've kind of created like an 8-town territory that I had the forester who works out of the Brentwood office kind of help me identify that kind of based on the natural landscape, but also the human landscape as far as like how much development and where that's taken place. And so you're the first I am meeting with. I'm hoping to meet with these 8 communities over the next few months and to introduce this concept. And I actually have a survey, which I will send out to you, which I hope that everybody here will take the time to fill out to really gauge your interest and availability, but also kind of what are those priority topics or issues that you see that you think that you could benefit as a conservation commission by having discussions with other nearby communities. So my plan or hope is by January or February to kind of have that first roundtable discussion scheduled. The Coastal Conservation Commission, they used to do them in person, but then pivoted online from COVID, and they found that they just had so much more attendance when they were online. So that really is my goal, but maybe once a year doing something in person as well. There are other models other than that Coastal Conservation Commission model. Some places just have a group that meets once a year or twice a year in person. There are a couple land trusts who coordinate those events throughout the state. Our Osmond Sargent Land Trust is one. And Moose Mountain Regional Greenways also coordinates kind of a conservation roundtable once per year. The Cheshire County Conservation District also does. So these are not, you know, that's just one model. We could do that model, and that's kind of what that questionnaire is getting at. Is like, what do you think would be the most helpful and beneficial to you as a conservation commission? And with that, I'll take any questions. You know, you should also see, I met with Rob and Becky earlier in the year to kind of talk about some targeted like outreach. And so my role within Extension really is to provide support at multiple levels where you need it and to really help you with those conservation strategies or understanding stewardship better. So feel free to ask me questions.
So for the roundtable that's going on,
yeah,
it's not just like one person from each group getting together
no,
to share ideas. It's the whole commissions, because originally, I mean, I think even years ago, we used to meet kind of informally, like with Fremont and Kingston, like a few, Evie, Nathan, and I don't know, we used to just get together very informally, but this sounds much better. But it could be a big, very big group then.
it could be, yeah. I mean, they, yes, and it depends on if you as an individual, if you have the time to go, if it's a topic that interests you.
Yeah.
There might be a lot of factors, and some of those coastal conservation roundtables, we might have 4 individuals from a single conservation commission.
Yeah.
You know, the Greenland Conservation Commission, but only one from Durham and one from Lee show up that, you know, in addition to the other folks. And then other days we've been like really heavy on the Rye Conservation Commission and only 1 or 2 from the other conservation commissions. So really, it's about what interests you, what meets your needs. Mm-hmm. And yes, I would say it would be open to anybody to join from the Conservation Commission.
I mean, I really like that idea. I mean, we've been doing ourselves, trying to do more education, but, you know, we've had the Nature Conservancy present their plan and Spinif talk about easements, and we had our consultant, Anna Boudreau, talk about easements 101, and it seems like it would be great to share, you know, if someone's going to take the time to do it, why not do it to a broader audience? So instead of doing it like we take a half hour at every other meeting to bring someone in to present to the 10 people here, it seems like it would be a lot more beneficial for the presenter and the community to have a broader audience.
Absolutely.
And I guess, like, how much is it presenting versus like the idea sharing? Because I like the idea sharing almost better than seeing a presenter personally.
Well, you should write that in the comments section.
Okay.
Because that is definitely, The Coastal Conservation Commission, the way they kind of framed it, they're about an hour and a half long, every other month. And the first half hour, actually, Jay Diner loves to do an icebreaker at the beginning, so everybody goes around, and he always has some question like, what's your favorite fruit, or what's your favorite ice cream, or something. And just so that everybody gets used to connecting a name with a face on the screen. And then the presenters sometimes are as little as 15 or 20 minutes. Some of them have gone closer to a half hour. And then usually after that, they open it up for questions to ask the presenter. And then there's discussion with the Conservation Commissions about how they have addressed that particular topic. So it has been usually a mix of both, with it being a little bit less heavy on the presentation.
And do you have time in your workload to be our professional organizer, or are you looking through?
No, well, so good question. I would say yes. I think I would like to play that support role, absolutely. Okay. But I think the reason why that Coastal Conservation Commission roundtable is so successful is because it really was in part instigated by a chair of a conservation commission who saw that need and benefit. And that was Jay Diner, and he started that 10 years ago. And he still has a role in helping organize and create the agenda for each of those meetings. And Lynn actually plays kind of she does all the background. There's a Google folder, and they put everything in there, and everybody who's on that conservation roundtable has access to the agendas and the materials and the resources that they share through that Google Docs folder. So she kind of plays that role in making sure the minutes go out, taking the minutes, and keeping that file organized.
Does the state pay much attention to this roundtable with coastal, especially? Like, my biggest peeve is nitrogen overload in Great Bay. It's being destroyed.
Yeah.
So, is there any influence with the state on that?
Not at this particular level. And that's not to say that they haven't had folks from the state present information to make sure that the conservation commissions are educated on different natural resources concerns and issues, because they definitely have. But they're not, it's really designed to support conservation commissions, not other staff.
In the last
There's another
30 years,
group for
I've
that.
noticed that Great Bay going downhill in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple groups. There's the Great Bay Water Keepers, I'm gonna say, and they do a what?
Prep.
Oh, and PrEP is
Big
and
yes.
Givner, the Great Bay Estuarine Natural Resource Reserve. They do both. There's a lot of groups. There's a lot of work focused on Great Bay and the Seacoast area. Sea Grant is also part of that. They're Sea Grant is kind of split between UNH Extension and the Federal Sea Grant Program. They have kind of dual roles at the university, so there's a lot of work on it. Yeah.
You know, every year the fishing games, they net smelt and alewives, and every year it's less and less.
Yeah. My goal, though, is that that roundtable really supports that coastal community. Like, I want this roundtable to support your needs and the needs of kind of the similar conservation commissions and towns in this general area. So that I wanted to start kind of just with 8 towns and maybe expand it depending on how successful it is and how it's going. The ones that I identified were Epping, Deerfield, Kingston, Fremont. Can't read my handwriting. I think that's Danville, Kensington, Southampton, and East Kingston. So that's kind of the group that I would like to start with.
It'd be interesting to see, we have a map of Brentwood and all the conservation lands in Brentwood from Rockingham County office downtown.
Yeah,
But it would be interesting to see how the towns surrounding us link with our green spaces, with our conservation. It's a larger map that shows more regional approach to that. I don't know if there is such a thing.
yeah.
Would that be something that we could propose to some group?
Yeah, that might be interesting, yeah. The regional plan that it kind of, most of Rockingham County falls under is that coastal conservation plan.
There's another word.
Yeah, there is another word. Watershed, coastal.
It was
watershed
presented to us
conservation
by the Nature Conservancy.
Okay.
That, they identified the
Yep.
priority parcels that would
Yep.
connect. And even like Selt has a Pawtucket to Great Bay, there's a bunch of different plans. And
Right.
we can get
To
the
see
bigger
the whole
maps
thing, yeah.
from RPC, could print this out, a bigger map
That would be
from
interesting to,
Granite or something. We just narrow it down to Brentwood
Yeah.
where we print the map,
Yeah.
but the information is online.
I think
It
that's
is, it's a-
useful to a group to understand how we're all linked together.
Yeah, and that is, the website is Connect to Protect, is the website that has that coastal plan. And a lot of information about land conservation and the benefits of land conservation and the approach that they took in determining those priority areas. But again, I'm supposed to promote that as a tool, which I do, because I think it's really great. But at the same time, I also recognize that that came from a lot of conservation organizations whose priorities might not necessarily reflect the community identified priorities within your particular town, right? And so it is one piece of the picture, but I don't want it to be the only piece of what you think about when you think about land conservation. But I do think it'd be interesting to say, oh, hey, we've created these conservation focus areas. Does our southwest corner meet Fremont's northeast corner, right? And so have we really identified these big core areas? So maybe we see it as this 300 acres that we may want to protect, but if we add these other parcels made from other towns, it becomes 500 acres of a great piece, right? That would be kind of interesting and neat to take a look at. I don't disagree.
Paul, were you going to say something?
It was, but
Forgot.
Oh, sorry.
went out of my head. Just listening intently.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think your proposal sounds fantastic. I'm assuming conservation commissions have similar challenges and that some of them don't know the resources available to them. So it would probably be more efficient for all the teams to know what else is going on. And then I think to your point, if we're having someone like Anna Boudreau, we're commissioning her to provide education, you can split that cost among 8 different towns.
Yeah.
So that way, that cost gets distributed and have more funds elsewhere, but that education's being disseminated to more folks. So
Thank you, Chris, for volunteering to the roundtable.
It's a great. I mean, I need to learn a lot more about conservation community, and it sounds like a great opportunity to do that. So
Yeah, and I noticed that it's on here, but the NHACC annual meeting is coming up in November 1st.
We have a lot of attendees.
Oh, good. That's great. Yeah. So I will be there offering map and compass field trip in the afternoon if you're really excited to learn about how to use a map and compass for, this is going to be a more general map and compass versus the one like I helped with earlier this year, which was really more specific for easement monitoring. But we are pulling elements of that into this workshop anyway.
Yeah, well, you have our conservation email. I think if you send the survey to that, we could distribute it
Just
to
great.
everyone. And I think it's awesome to have everyone know the resource that we have located right in town in Brentwood at the Rockingham Complex. we go over to pick up all your little brochures and everything when we're giving stuff out. And yeah, I think we could all think about how we could not only participate potentially in the roundtable, but how we could also leverage your experience, which you didn't mention, but worked for the Society for Protection of New Hampshire Forests, Stratford Rivers Conservancy, the town of Durham. You were one of their land
Stewardship coordinator for the
people
town
for
of
the
Durham.
for Durham. So I mean, we have a lot of experience at our disposal for free as well that we could take advantage of.
Yeah, and my role is
Or
not,
for our taxes. I should
yeah,
say.
yeah, and I,
Not for free.
and I do, like, to make sure that it's clear, like, my job is to support you and help you and guide you.
Right.
And I'm not going to do the trails inventory for you.
Right.
Not that I don't have the capacity to do that and haven't done that before, I have, but it's to help you do that on your own and help you kind of find the direction for whatever project it is that you are wanting to get done and just need some more guidance or input, or resources or examples. You can just reach out. I've got lots of different examples from all different towns throughout the state who have done lots of different projects that I think are really good examples that I could share if there's a particular project you're working on. So
Heather, what I'm thinking is, we are going to close next week on the Nooney Mungers property on South Road, and we're looking
2 weeks.
2 weeks to update our management plan. We had Jeff Littleton it's abuts 75 acres the town owns, and Jeff
Okay.
Littleton had produced a land management stewardship plan for us, and we like to add this because it has some great potential, but needs a plan. We could put maybe parking, trails, there's a pond. Maybe I don't know what we decided. I think you were going to help us with that, but maybe Sarah could.
Getting on the idea that, yes, we should.
Yeah,
update
so
something
maybe
once we
that's
own
something
it.
just to brainstorm. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's something. We talk about the specifics at other times, so we can not go over our time, but.
is it as well manicured and
No, not
developed
at all.
as Bedrock Gardens?
No.
No.
Completely left untouched for a decade.
3 decades.
3
say
decades.
7. nothing's been done.
It's like a landscape piece of art
And
over at
he's
Bedrock
Oh,
Gardens.
yeah, we love
involved
that.
in cleaning it up, yes.
Well, that's great. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming in
Oh, you're welcome.
and
like I
being a
said-
resource for us in town.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out with any questions. And thank you for letting me come
Thank you.
tonight and take up some of your meeting time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Next on our list is old business. We're going to just give an update on Munger.
As Paul said, we've set a closing date for October 23 at 11 o'clock in this building. It works for the landowners, and Paul will represent the select board. You're in touch with Sharon Worcester of Title Pro, and she's working on all the paperwork. We'll have the HUD documents and all the required state documents. She's got the warranty deed that our town council and Paul put together, but town council passed approval on. So I think that's underway. We should have everything in order for that date.
We need a representative from the commission.
I plan to be there unless my plans are delayed in Virginia. Yes,
Okay.
because I leave Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Have a backup just in case.
Yeah, I think someone should be a backup. Oh, you're not
I'll
here.
be out of the country.
Oh.
and
I might be
Wow. You better be there.
We could ask Michelle. She's an
Yeah.
officer. We can ask Michelle if she could
Sure.
be there. Okay. I should be here. Should be.
I mean, is it something that could be signed in advance by the
Yes,
Conservation
it
Commission?
can be.
I mean, why do we need to have it signed at the closing?
It could be signed in advance. So what that's what Anna said, that sometimes everything's done by mail and different pieces are mailed out. So that is a possibility.
Okay, so
Can touch base with Sharon on that if that becomes a I know you wanted to be there.
I wanted to be there just to,
Oh, yeah, definitely. But
because of the
maybe we should
relationship,
sign
yeah.
one in advance, just in
Just in
case.
case, yeah, that page, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just on the rest of that, we just kind of alluded to it. I mean, we should figure out how to move forward with the plan. There's a couple things. We talked about doing a baseline. The survey markers are there in wood. I know that and so I think, you know, before winter comes and the wood posts get knocked over, you know, I don't know what the best way, either to photograph them, possibly, Bruce and I talked about maybe putting in some pipes instead of the wood markers.
Yes, it's gonna be torn down. Right, right. Okay, yes, yeah. Yeah. Yes,
You guys can both come up here if you want
Yes.
to sit at the table if you want. We have chairs here.
Yeah, it's in a precarious spot, that's southeast corner. So we definitely,
if any work is gonna be done in the
well,
next
certainly,
year,
there'll be
yes.
machinery involved
Yeah.
with the carting away the old
Right.
debris,
Right,
you know, all the work in the foundation,
Yeah.
and probably a new septic in the area, so Doug's got a great idea for that one particular corner, which is really in jeopardy. Most of the other ones around 2/3 of the field are drill holes and stone walls
yeah,
or ribbon
Yeah.
on trees or barbed wire, so it's pretty clear. But that one, that whole southern boundary, actually from east to west, where it crosses two properties.
We need to mark that better.
yeah,
Yes,
And
so
more permanent, especially in
Yes.
the backyards.
Rod mentioned he had some 5-foot rebar.
Yeah.
So if we took that, Doug and I would do that this fall. Put them on the southern boundary. If we had do we have a copy of that retracement, larger than that one little?
not larger than, but I think you could take it to Staples and blow it up.
Don't know how it would work, but I could try the copy center in my
Yeah.
office.
Yeah, okay,
Plaza.
yeah.
If
You want to
not,
give an electronic version of it?
He sent it via email, so I
It's a
forwarded.
PDF, and it does, as you blow it up, it does get clearer.
Okay.
okay, so I can
Okay.
just send that to the copy
So
center.
you
Okay.
can easily.
I think you sent
I gave
to
it
me.
to, yes,
Okay.
I did send it to
So
you.
I'll work on a bigger one.
Okay,
If we have
Yeah.
that, even though we're not surveyors, we can pretty much
Yes.
accurately mark.
before time goes by while those stakes are there.
But it's pretty well marked right now. I mean, all you have to do is put it in by the flagging,
Yeah,
because those are the ones that are gonna disappear, and the posts
Yes,
and
and of
stuff.
course, the boundary line runs right across the back lawn of the house to the west of the Dennett house.
mhm,
That's where the shooting is going on. I was
Yes.
down there last weekend in the upper fields, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of activity, a lot of shooting.
Yeah, so I think, you know, as part of taking over and doing the baseline, which we'll document, and the map from the surveyor shows like the kayak rack over the line and the shooting target, is we should be sending a friendly letter to abutters that have encroachments, you know, just letting them know in some fashion, and maybe Paul, you could help us craft the letter, that the town is the owner, the survey has been done, there's appears that, you know, just a friendly reminder, if you could take your,
I don't send friendly letters.
okay.
So I've
well,
been
Lise will
told.
send the letter.
Yes.
Doug can explain, he came to the idea of this marker. I'll cover the cost.
Yeah. The idea was to keep the cost minimal, because and I'm checking on this now, we have old markers that we don't use, that we flip upside down. So, in use for different type of situations, whether it be a step or some people will come in for boundary markers. And my suggestion to Bruce was that put the coordinates inscribed directly on the backside of a marker on either one of the corners or each corner with each of the coordinates. They can be close, they don't need to be exact. The coordinates will be exact. So if a surveyor has to come back in, he can go right to the marker itself. And Bruce and I could dig a hole, set it in cement, and it's pretty permanent. I mean, most government markers back in the day, they were dug down 2.5 feet, a 4-inch marker was set, and they don't move.
Yeah.
But it was just an idea, but instead of trying to chase a piece of paper to find out where those coordinates are, they're right there.
Right there.
And if you had to wash the marker, it's pretty convenient to do that versus trying to find a map or something of that nature. Only a suggestion. And as far as the encroachment, eminent domain, right? If they,
Well, yeah.
There's no issues.
No.
oh,
We just need to
But
notify them. I mean, there's big orange flags through their backyards now. They know where the line is. It's just a matter of,
Right, but that's why you want to notify
Getting it on
people
record,
and not
yeah.
necessarily, I understand what you meant by friendly, kind of colloquially, but, you
Yeah.
know, in a legal way too, you want to let
Yeah.
people know that this is, you know, our property.
Yeah.
and-
It's a recorded survey registry,
But you do want to make.
nobody knew because they were all mowing for, some amount of time. And so yes, that letter is part of our takeover of the property. However, that should be worded.
Right, but it's also record that we're not
Allowing,
consenting,
Right.
you know, which would then
yes.
allow for that kind of.
Yeah.
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 and on those markers, they run 24 by 12, 4 inches thick. They can be broken in half.
Yeah, can you describe, I have no idea what you're talking about when you say a marker. I think of little round metal
Well-
things that I see in the ground in places.
Those are traditional, and the pins that you talked about, the 5-foot iron goes down the ground in each corner. They do get pulled out occasionally, depending upon your neighbor, especially my neighbor. But no offense, Rick. But in this case, what would happen is if you're familiar with the cemeteries, you go into a cemetery, you see a government marker, which is granite, and that it's 24 by 12, 4 inches thick, and it is granite. And a lot of times there may be a discrepancy on it, which we have on that, and the government reissues a new marker so that proper information goes to the cemetery. A monument dealer gets to hold those markers. We break them up and use them as foundation pieces because you don't want to just dump them anywhere. It's got somebody's name on. But in this case, I thought, and it was just a quick thought, that if you flip it over, cut it in half, and you had 2 markers, you cut it in half, you've got a 12 by 12 piece of granite, 4 inches thick. Bruce and I can dig a 2-foot hole in each corner, set it in there, and on the top of that, inscribed, which is sandblasted directly into the granite, which is 1/4 of an inch deep, and it will say what the coordinates are. So if a surveyor goes out there and you pick up on one marker or have all the coordinates on each one of the markers, they'll be able to identify that plot of land with no problem.
And they'd be flush, so they could be
They'd be
driven
flush.
over or mowed
Yeah.
over.
That's right, that's right.
So which corner, you're talking about every corner, or Bruce, which corner are you talking about?
Just
The
that
parking lot corner?
Southeast corner against the Dennis home would be the granite
The one that's by the road.
by the road.
Mhm.
We'll
So
take it.
that's,
Then we can use your rebar on the southerly.
okay.
And in that case, you might even note on the granite piece, rebar set on all 3 corners.
Yeah, I mean, we have, there's a survey map that has, granite markers, rods,
Yep.
all that. I don't think we need to identify too much. And I bet that surveyors have a GPS coordinates of all these at this point. And, my thought with the baseline survey is that we would walk right? With like, and track it so that we would have coordinates pretty close to everything, not to mention, like, we found a lot of them just using the Onyx app and other apps that came darn close from the property map. So I don't know if we need to go crazy with identifying GPS coordinates per se. I mean, it's a
Just
cool,
not-
you know, it's a cool idea,
We
but
get it for free.
You've got the
Yeah.
coordinates in the deed too,
Mhm.
for every section of the
At least it would
property.
identify it as a survey point where
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
a new homeowner
it sounds,
wouldn't take it out.
Yeah,
Right, and
I'll
then
take
it's
that.
flush with the ground, I think that's critical.
yeah.
I think that's.
Yeah.
Really important.
Good
So-
idea, not good idea?
I think it's a good
Oh.
idea. Yeah, it's wonderful.
so where would you get the GPS coordinates from? Would we get those from the surveyor?
You or
From the
whoever
deed?
has this map you're talking about. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the terminology when it comes to, first of all, GPS is over my head. And, but I do understand that if you take 0.109000 and match it up to over here in the corner, it will tell you what the perimeter is of a particular piece of property.
Okay,
But if you list that on a piece of granite, have it flush to the ground, with, 150 years when you pass, and you don't have that information available, somebody else might
Gotcha.
want to go in.
that sounds good.
Just
We do have the 1987 recorded registry survey, so this retracement, they probably didn't record
No.
that.
No, but I mean, when they're going out, they're using GPS to find all these. So they probably have, I'm not exactly sure, a GPS coordinate of each of these points.
Can you get us that information?
Is it, only because I don't know, is GPS very accurate?
No, there's,
It depends.
yeah, I mean, there's some error built into it, I think.
Well, like in the case of the Munger property, we were using the town tax map, which really wasn't, it was reasonably accurate, but nothing exact, nothing like the survey.
Okay, so,
Our cheap ones, like even in our phones, are usually at least, can be up to 10 feet off.
They're about 10 feet.
A surveyor will correct their data to the known coordinate
I
that,
guess that's,
and so like when they're in the field or recording stuff, it's getting corrected based on the government provided correction point, so that they can get down to.
I think that's on the 87 recorded plot plan registry, which I do have.
Yeah.
But if Rob can copy that other plan, the new plan, retracement. That would be helpful for setting a rerun. Recorded 87 plan would be the most decisive.
yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you're not gonna, when you go through those backyards in particular, there's not gonna be really many markers.
No.
So you're gonna, I think we're either rely on the flagging that the surveyor left, and that'll be
Well,
an
that's all.
estimate,
It's just an estimate.
but a close estimate.
Are those 3/4, they're not like little 1/4 inch rods, right?
I don't know. I'll measure. Get you whatever you
Yeah,
like.
well, no, bring them over and if they're suitable.
let's do it before the ground freezes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then, so for GPS coordinates, I mean, in a bunch of our corners, you're only looking for how many of those? By the house?
Maybe 4 in total.
4G, because I mean, we have granite bounds in most of the other corners.
I don't know.
If you have.
So maybe we'll go through it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I'll ask, we'll get whatever you need.
You may not even need it.
Okay. Do we need any sort of motion to approve that or no?
Probably put the information.
Okay, perfect. And then, yeah, and then also we talked about, once we take ownership, having the dock removed.
Yes.
So there's kind of a big track back there already that someone's been driving, kind of where right off Hague Road, where the kind of people have been parking next to the house. And so I think after we take ownership, we should ask the highway department to take a look at going back there and removing the dock just from it's a rickety old, and I think it's a safety.
It's not safe. That should be
Safety
removed.
issue.
Yeah.
So Lisa, I don't know if you want it like under property management baseline, maybe?
So we'd
I'm
ask
gonna be
Wayne,
away.
Highway Department, we talk to Wayne about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank-
Rob, I put the tracker home, so Doug's got a couple of days time next week. I'm leaving for a month after the end of next week, but next week we'll go down there, put a chain on it.
We're not gonna close for
October
2
23rd.
weeks.
They probably wouldn't be too concerned.
I don't think it's the Noonies Mongers
I
dock.
think it's the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's
it
on their
was.
property,
Yeah, it was
It's on their
definitely-
so
property.
it is theirs.
Definitely nothing Mooney's with.
Right.
There was a beer drinking, cigarette smoking dock.
I mean, if they're okay with it.
Should I could contact them and say, I could just contact and say there
That would
is
be
a
the
dock.
best.
We'd like to remove it even before the closing, just because of bad weather and liability. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds excellent. Thank you, guys.
All right. And thank you, Becky, for continuing to follow through.
Yeah, so how has the whole experience been, Becky? Can we take a minute and tell us, I know people have always thought when we do easements with the land trust, it's an expense for a lot of hours. What was your experience in the amount of time and hours it took to close on a property?
Well, without a town administrator, when this whole project started, we had no one for 2.5, 3 months. It was a challenge to figure out the process. Anna was very helpful. Barbara Richter at NHACC was very helpful. Lisa and I actually had a conversation with Barbara once about the process, just to make sure we had things outlined. It took a lot of time. Lisa was involved, you were involved. Robin came along on the walk, met the appraiser in Dover to talk to him about it, to deliver a check.
I guess my point was, it's a
That-
lot.
it's a lot of
more
work.
than we think.
It's a lot of work.
When just the hours of follow-up and getting
Yep.
RFPs and this and following up and sending it and then the bond process. So, I mean, it is a lot, and I know we're always concerned about how much it costs if we hire like Celt to do
Yeah.
a project, but now I think we know firsthand it's quite
It's quite
a
a,
lift to
it's quite a
finish. And that's without like,
lot of work.
then you adding grants and then thank you. Part of following up on thank you for a lot of time and effort.
I learned a lot. I don't know that I'd do it again, but
What?
I've-
You're our
I
expert
know
now.
the experience. I know the experience, so it's helpful to have that information. And I think it's a good acquisition for the town. It links other parcels we have, so it's continuity of habitat and natural resources. I think that's the value. So, yes. So, I'm very pleased. Jill and Bob were very easy to work with. Yes. So, that's good.
We are gonna skip over the Trails Passport, because Emma could not be here. She said really nothing much has happened yet. She's really busy with the orchard. So she will definitely be here next. Conservation easement monitoring. So, I am gonna just bring up an issue that came up at Windy Brook. The conservation easement that's around it, there are 2 parcels that have encroachments. One is a swing set, and, what is it, those canvas carports?
Could you remind us which one is Windy Brook, where that's located?
Washington, it's up on North Road,
Oh,
across from Windsor Meadow.
the condos. We've had quite a number of encroachments there over the years. Partly because no one knows where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
Right. This one, when I was out there on Sunday and I was on the easement part, I was literally standing right next to the swing set. And I could see the homeowner, and I would guess a grandparent and a couple of kids. I asked if they had a minute to talk, and she came over and I explained that there were some issues with the swing set and possibly the parking canopy being on the easement. And she said her husband always took care of that stuff, and he had passed away. So I was trying to be very gentle, and I said, and then she tried to argue that the swing set was not a permanent structure. I basically just allowed as how I needed to really review the easement document. And then I would get back to her. I didn't want to push her, just because I didn't know the circumstances and such. It was at least a year ago that her husband passed away. I guess he was anesthesiologist or something like that. Anyways, 2 young kids. And so anyways, I was gonna draft a letter regarding those issues.
Is this the landowner or in a butter?
So this is so I was walking the easement, and they are in a butter to the easement.
So the easement, I believe, is like the HOA property, right?
Correct.
So it
So if
was a border around the entire development as an easement. So it's behind everyone's backyard.
Not,
Well, a lot of the backyards.
a lot of the backyard.
And so
So this one is lot 3, and on this older aerial, this is the area that they've mowed, and then the little play area is right there.
So is it a decent encroachment, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Pass the picture.
Yes. Yeah. I thought I had brought the other picture, which
And this-
shows where.
And do we know if this was new or changed from last year's or?
So I didn't get to it last year, which is why I did this one first, because I was like,
Yeah. And we've had this one, I don't know which area it is, we've had play sets and sandboxes on the easement quite often and mowing.
This one?
I don't know about this entire development, which
Yeah.
has, many houses, that people just keep mowing and mowing and mowing onto, and again,
Right,
nobody
there's a couple.
there's no markers for anyone to know.
right. So the hard part is I'm
Okay.
really going off the Onyx Hunt app. So this shows you kind of the basic outline of this property. So there's that, and then there's the carport, and then the swing set. So it's definitely, the swing set is definitely on.
Well, I think you have the right idea. I mean, sending a letter and asking them to move it.
Right.
And maybe, you meeting them there and saying, this is how far it needs to be moved. And, yeah.
Do you want a friendly letter?
You could
I'd like to
probably,
make it as friendly as possible.
I mean, you might even, I don't know how far back it goes in that file, if there is prior letters to other landowners or if it's the same landowner.
Yeah, so that's not the only parcel. There was also a fire pit.
That looks pretty close to where they have the rest of their backyard, so is that just, like, is the line end of that tree, the easement or something, or?
Mhm.
Most,
Right.
Love to.
I mean, in most of these, there's no
So-
effective homeowners association.
Right, I think it depends on the development. So when I was reading through it, in the event of a violation of any provision of this conservation easement comes to the attention of the town of Brentwood, the party allegedly causing such violation shall be notified in writing of the nature of such violation, which notice shall be delivered in hand or by certified mail, return receipt requested.
Just in terms of setting the stage ball, they're the right to them first, ultimately they're the legal.
But there's no homeowners association in most of these. Why? Well, they're not though. I mean, maybe they just dropped it 20 years ago.
Sometimes they lapse.
Yeah, because most of these we've tried when there's no, like, you know, the newer ones, maybe if there's a well or something, yeah, then people are paying into it. But for some of these where it's just land sitting in the back, there was no reason. And, you know, we've in the past, maybe you have a different experience recently, but there was no one to even write to.
Well, there has to be somebody
So
registers.
who,
The town council always makes sure that that money is conservation every cluster.
so who enforces it? Is it us or is it the select board? Is it
Select board.
select board?
It seems like you have to start with a legal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somebody's paying taxes.
But who,
Well,
is
she
it,
just read it.
yeah, is it the homeowner that owns the land, or is it? Yeah, I don't know. If there's like some common area that's allocated, but that's the home, if that's the homeowner's land, then they're extending that into the. But that's where we have the easement.
I mean, we've always found contacting the landowner. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you have to notify for this and certify that they're, you know, the HOA, yeah, you can notify them, but what are we gonna do? Sue the HOA, which is gonna be one person whose address is on the bill that's gonna enforce it?
Well, they're responsible for it. Read the documents.
It's all good in theory, but someone has to enforce it. This town has to be willing to take them to court or something.
Oh, absolutely. You take that one person to court, write them a letter, they're gonna say, we're not responsible for the homeowners association, but the law.
But if it's their land, Bruce, I mean, if it, if,
It's their land in common ownership. It's not their land. It's only the lots.
oh, really?
They have
No,
a
they-
segment.
Maybe we could talk about this offline. I don't think
Yeah.
we're gonna solve it
Yeah.
here hypothetically
Right.
without knowing what the actual details are, so.
So these are true property boundaries, and then this is
Those are
common area. So each lot is,
So it looks like,
Reusable portion. They're owned by the personal use. And the rest of it is owned by the HOA.
Well, why don't we look into it after, because we're not gonna have the
Yeah.
documents here.
plus it may
Yeah, in terms
ultimately be more efficient just to ask the landowner or the homeowner anyways.
But your point is well taken. There's, some of them did have a lot that an HOA did pay some fees on. So that might be something, and again, in my experience, we may have tried to write to those and they never answer.
What's the date of the
So,
easement? How
anyways.
long is this going? 01. This easement was written in 01, so properties could have changed over
Oh.
24 years. and
Absolutely.
There may be a lapse.
No, I don't.
Um, in
It's
terms
just a,
of the-
yeah, it looks like just a subdivision.
No, it's cluster because the lots are smaller. So 1.5 acres, 0.9 acres, 0.7 acres.
Yeah, it's a cluster. Okay.
Right,
So,
Okay.
okay.
so Glen Green would really help. Okay,
But from an efficiency standpoint, we still probably need to, yeah,
right,
anyways.
in terms of. I
Yeah,
think-
whether you copy the homeowners association or send them their own version. I would notify all three if we find that there's an actual homeowners association.
I bet a
Yep.
lot of people don't realize that there may be.
Yeah, and hopefully
should
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
They just don't know where the
Yeah.
line is
Have you
usually.
in the
and they'll
past
just-
included like a copy of the survey or the easement? What do we?
So that's what I'm gonna also do, is have a copy of the easement deed and the survey, highlight where they are and where the aerial photo shows their encroachments.
Nice work.
How often does something happen like this when monitoring is done? And is it a rare occasion? Very rare.
I mean, if you want to draft something, I'd be happy to take a look at it or wordsmith it. So,
That would be good. Okay. New business. Just wanted to mention there is a program. Of course.
I don't know that Chris knows what easement monitoring is and what we're doing, and
Oh,
I'm absorbing some of it in, so.
so can we back up and then maybe tap him to come walk some with you?
Oh, nice, Heather.
Who's doing the minutes?
I am.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
So when, so conservation easements always have a holder of the easement. It can be the town, it can be Southeast Land Trust, it can be the Forest Society, it can be Nature Conservancy. There's different options. So for the ones that the town holds, we, a group of volunteers goes out and walks as much as the perimeter is possible. Sometimes it's not possible just because there's so much overgrowth or grass and stuff. So that's what I'm currently doing fall.
If you ever need any assistance, just let me know. That sounds.
Yeah, so if, and kind of the best way to learn how to do it is to go along with me when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So typically I do send out letters to the landowners and then, to see if they want to also be involved on the walk. And that's where I get usually, I'd say a quarter of them want to be on the walk. And then if they don't, I do always like to contact them, just so they know I'm gonna be on their property. So, yeah,
town, knowing where a few secret trails are.
Yeah.
Get your steps in.
Yeah, get my steps in, exactly.
And we could catch up after, I could forward some things. There's a lot of email lists you could get on, like Sarah was saying, UNH Cooperative Extension, they do tons of training sessions on all sorts of things. And the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions, which is having this great annual meeting where they have workshops all day long for, like, Conservation Commission for new members, for all sorts of things. So there's a lot of resources out there to, learn as well.
Absolutely.
And you can sign up for the conference, and we have funds in our budget to
Yeah,
pay.
so if you're at all
the fee.
interested and available on November 1st.
It's in Pembroke, November 2, Pembroke, New Hampshire at the high school.
Okay.
Yeah, worth going.
Yeah, I got the email from Rob. I'm not sure if I have something the weekend before and the weekend after, so I'm trying to figure out if I can dedicate that Saturday as well. But I know UH, the co-op, pretty well, so I know they have some resources.
Yeah.
And I actually had a family friend who has a property next to the Exeter River. I think he walks with one of you to last year visiting.
Which property is it?
Dam, like coming down, like he's a bunch of land along that.
Storm. It used to be Storm's property.
He's French.
Yes,
no, no.
that's.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Antoine.
They
Yeah,
bought,
exactly.
they bought Jane's property.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was mentioning.
Yeah, I've got Jane, Daphne and.
Yeah. Our sons are good friends, so he mentioned,
Oh,
I think your name. I was like, I walked the property, so I was like, oh, that's what I guess the team is doing. So part of what the team's doing.
Can I go back to Munger Nooney just for a second? You're doing the baseline report. I have photographs from the walk with the appraiser on my phone
Look
still.
over here.
Taken in January and February, if they're useful at all. It's all the perimeter and some of the interior, if it's useful for you. Okay, I will,
You could email.
okay, I will do that.
Now we're going forward.
Now we're going forward. Yes, so just wanted to mention again, on October 21st at the town library, there's a program on invasive plants being hosted by the Brentwood gardeners, I believe.
Yes.
And so it should be very informative. It'll be start at 7 p.m. Next one is the NHACC meeting. So, yeah, just reach out to me if you are going, because I'm going, Jeff is going. I don't know if you're.
I plan
and
to.
Becky's going. So if we want to carpool at all, that would be nice. Split Rock Fields, fence removal.
Yeah. Yeah, so once again, thanks to Bruce, Doug, and others
Thank you.
for volunteering countless hours, equipment. They've removed all the fencing from around, incurring cuts, bruises, ticks, snake bites, bear encounters, scalp removals, leeches, spiders, and there are ants, and I wasn't even there. I've been trying to get one of those too. So what's been great is, all that fencing has been removed. So wildlife can freely move through and able to, continue the clearing back to the stone walls. And they've piled up, I sent some pictures earlier, and I don't have any with me, but you can take a look. It's on the roadside right there. So it's all been piled up, brought out of the fields, and Bruce found a company where you could dispose of these for $200 a ton, or a minimum $200 per load, and estimated maybe 3 to 4-ish loads or tons. and to have the highway department come over and use their dump trucks to get it in there and haul it away and dump it at this disposal company for, again, hopefully around $600, but I'm asking for approval from our budget for up to $1,000, just to make sure that it's covered for the removal of that and disposal of that fence. So I would make a motion to approve $1,000 from our budget for the removal and disposal of the fence from the Split Rock Fields.
Second.
Dis-
Basically, it's all wires.
I'm one person on the select board, but I don't know that you need select board.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, they've helped us with other projects. I mean,
Yeah.
they're managing their time and their schedule, so I mean, we haven't gone, not to, that we don't want to go to the select board, but I think if we have the money to pay for it.
Yeah, it's a reasonable conservation request.
Yeah.
We take a vote?
If there's any
I
discussion.
think that wrap up discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
And then after that happens, we'll figure out how to get it into our budget, the cost transferred or whatever. We can figure it out.
Yeah. I think so.
You either need an account set up with them
Yeah.
or payment probably at the time.
Thank you, that's great. That's really great, the work of getting that all cleared up. Yeah, yeah.
All right, next on our list is discussion of extending the contract with Anna Boudreau.
Yep. So I distributed in advance, but didn't bring copies. Anna's contract, it's mostly the same as the current one that's expiring October 31st. The biggest, the changes she made is, it was referencing mostly the Conservation Commission. She added the Open Space Committee. The biggest change is increasing her hourly rate from a discounted rate of $75 to a new rate of $90 an hour, which she said is her standard rate. I did just check this morning for SELT, who currently charges $70 an hour for project work, although they said they haven't raised it in quite a long time, and they probably will, but that they're familiar that other land trusts are charging $80, $85 in that range. So it's not out of the range, but it is on the high side. And in order to keep the dollars the same or similar, she reduced the number of hours. because we have a maximum not to exceed so-and-so that had dollars an hour, so she just adjusted those. So now, instead of a maximum, well, first of all, we have to approve everything in advance, so it's not like we have a fixed
Yeah.
dollar that we spend no matter what, it's just
Go as you,
hourly,
As
go
needed.
as you want
As
with our
needed, yeah.
approval.
go as you pay.
But
Yeah.
it does have a not to exceed, I forget the exact reason why we put it in there, it used to be originally 80 hours or 6,400. Now it's 75 hours or 6,750. So I think that was our budget, which
Yeah.
is basically why we
Yeah.
had that in there.
Yes, and because anything, if it approached 10,000, it was gonna have to be an RFP. So we tried to keep it
under,
a more
right.
modest level.
There was another correction. It said she would bill monthly in the original one, but she only bills quarterly, so she just made that correction, and those were literally the only things. There's still the requirement that she carries insurance of, $1 million liability and other things. I don't know if people had a chance. So for this year, we've used her for around $3,400 through the third
Did a little
quarter.
bit more with the new,
Oh, so maybe about
Yeah.
$4,000 through the third quarter,
Yeah.
which included the presentation, all the work on
visits to the landowners.
visits to
Yeah.
other landowners that
Yeah.
we're still in discussions with. So, I mean, you worked with her the most, I think. Would you recommend continuing?
I was a novice. I would recommend continuing because if we're pursuing other properties, she's a resource we can use to help with grants.
Mhm.
And she does have that experience. I found her very easy to work with. We had a good relationship. She recorded all the calls that we made and I kept my records and they matched. So it was very even the way she kept her records. Yes, I would recommend staying with her. And it's an as needed, so we're not required to spend it all. There's a 2-week notice either party if we want to cease, so we do have that out. So I don't know how many projects are coming along this year, but we do have some things in the pipeline.
Mhm.
Yes. Based on the fact that we could use our consultant to help with a particular project
Mhm.
as needed. Yes.
Yep. Anyone else have any thoughts to share? I mean, I think it's helpful to have a consultant expert. For the newer people, she was the executive director of the Stratford Rivers Conservancy for quite a long time. So has a lot of experience doing projects. And so what we've been using her mostly for is the town has approved this $3 million open space. And so we're actively doing outreach to the community and landowners. And then if we have people that are interested, we're bringing her in as necessary to help kind of with the expertise of explaining easements and the process and other things.
Is there enough expertise on this board that we could do that without?
Well, I think we do as much as we can without.
We do, and that's the thing.
There's only so much
The issue
time.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that Becky
I know
just
that issue.
explained
Yeah.
I mean,
how,
I mean, normally, we do meet with the landowners
I get
on
it.
our own
I get it.
first
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of go through, Lisa and I.
make sure there's
Yeah.
at least some true interest.
Yeah.
But it is hard, and again, if the town is going to take on an easement itself, which again is not something I'm in favor of for the reason you have to start to have easement encroachments and it start to take up time, and but even in speaking to like the land trust, who's extremely busy, having resources we could bring to the table for things like grants, which are enormously time consuming, helps get our projects into their pipeline. And again, since we don't have to use it and we only use probably at half or 2/3 of the last year,
Yeah.
It's nice to have. And again, having no professional staff at all that supports our committee, unlike almost every other committee that has some professional staff, it is nice to have something that we could fall back on if our
And there's
times don't allow.
there's continuity because our roles change and our membership changes. So having that continuity or records are important.
And and just maybe in context of this, but also as new information, last night Becky did a great job presenting the Conservation Commission's budget, and we did present the level funded budget, and the select board approved it. And this amount of the contract is included in that budget that was approved last night. So I would make a motion to renew Anna's contract as presented to us and have somebody sign.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I mean, it says select board chair. Can we just have someone from the commission sign it? Does it need to be a chair?
Jen Jones signed last year's, and I think I signed it as well.
Sorry, it says commission and Brentwood Select Board
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
So I'll,
Just delegate someone from the commission to sign it. I'll sign it.
okay, do we need to do that officially?
Probably.
Okay, so in that last motion, I'll make a new motion. I would volunteer to sign the contract on behalf of the commission. Should I make a motion for that myself? I would make a motion that I am selected, authorized to sign the contract with Anna Boudreau for consulting services on behalf of the commission, and we'll get the select board chair as well.
And that's what I did with Jennifer Jones last year, to have the authority to sign it.
So I
Is
make
that
that
a clean
motion.
copy to sign now? or-
No, I didn't print out a clean copy.
Second? All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
I don't know if I should abstain. Okay, aye. Great.
We do have slated the next meeting for November 12th,
Oh,
and then we will discuss if we need to go into non-public.
can I have,
You have
so
anything
just one
else in
other,
new business?
yep.
I have
So,
one thing too.
The select board, like I mentioned, did approve our budget, but this coming Tuesday, the 14th, is when all of the bond requests and debt will be discussed. So you may recall, we approved and submitted a request for up to $400,000 of the open space bond for issuance next year for a project that's moving along, and we could discuss next in non-public. I know it's a challenging, very challenging year, and that if anyone else, I'll make myself available, although I'm leaving that night to go on vacation. So could you get to us early? But anyone else that's available to attend, I think, would be helpful during whatever public comment there is for support. I mean, I'm gonna be prepared to talk about how we had $500,000 of the bond come due last year. So this year was a lot lower because Duty Munger came in only for half that and only for half a year. And we have another $500,000 coming due in 27. And so if we were to be successful and be able to close on a project we're down the road on, and that was issued again in a half year, that hopefully we would be able to make the argument that between the $1 million maturing and we haven't spent nearly that much, that we kind of should have access to that.
The 500 maturing would include Newnie Munger and also the
Fuller.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the 500 that's coming,
Yeah,
due is-
potentially.
Yeah, like in the middle of
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So again, I mean,
I just to clarify that.
yeah, but we didn't have the bond, only 200 and something was issued for Fuller. So when the 500,000 came due in January, and we only issued 250 in I don't know, when was the issuance of the bond this year? The money? For
It was
this-
approved in June or July.
when did the money come?
For
Newly,
Younger,
yeah.
within the last 2 months.
2 months, I think it was
Yeah.
August we got.
So
the
we only
funds.
had 200 and say 25,000 being used of the 250 left, let's say, for 6 months instead of a full
Yeah.
year. So there should be some excess to be able to cover a portion of the year. I know this is going to be my argument. You're getting a preview. I might not stand up in Supreme Court, but hopefully in a court of appeals. So anyways, yeah, but I think even, regardless, I think we could all go and just say this has been a priority for the town for a long time.
Yeah.
We've never had anything related to open space projects not passed at town meetings for the 20 years I've been here. It's clearly a priority in our master plan. The very recent building survey identified rural character and
Yeah.
Open space is the highest priority in town. So I think we just, there's a lot of competing pressures, and I know all people is under a lot of pressure and we have this budget cap, which is creating additional pressures. So I think we just need to be there if whoever can make it. Next Tuesday, I don't know what time we would get to this. I don't know what's on the agenda, but it would be helpful, I think. I'm going to go and do my best, but it's a very challenging financial environment, and I wouldn't want to miss out. I guess we could always do a warrant article. I don't know how that would work. If it didn't get approved by the budget committee, I don't know. We would have to figure out the next steps.
Go over the cap, yeah, you'd have to do a warrant article to get 3/5.
Right, which is normally what we do for all the open space projects, purchase of land. It's 3/5? So that's less. 60%.
Yeah.
So, and again,
Yeah.
we've always had 90% on open space, but it could be different, it could be changed. So hopefully, though, the budget committee or the select board and it will all fit in, and, but again, I appreciate any support from it.
Yeah.
What time that meeting start at?
6, but it usually takes a while.
Yeah.
To get to anything else. We can look at the
I don't-
agenda when it's posted.
I don't have with me all, what other budgets we're looking at that night. It's somewhere in the mix.
That's all I have. Becky? you
I have
said-
one little thing, yes. Heather, in that list that Rob put together of how tasks are being divided up, you're going to take on the forest management of the town forest. I have I only found one copy of that report. I can print and bind another copy so we can have one for the file, and I'll give you one, because that's the only copy that surfaced anywhere. So you have the whole plan. I don't think it's on the website.
I can make copies of any plans or get things scanned.
Okay, okay.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
found it in a bottom drawer in the other room, so,
Yeah, I guess if you can get it
to Rob,
to Rob, I
Okay.
think scanned is fine.
okay,
What sort of report is it, like paper?
yes, paper,
Copy
and it's
guide,
bound with a
usually.
ring, okay. And the notes from the select board approving the town forest, as much as we could find, because the documentation is very limited as to what they mean and what the purpose is and what the oversight is. So not much detail, that has to be worked out.
Sounds like a good meeting with Sarah.
Yeah, it does, it could be a good meeting with Sarah. So I'll get it to you, Rob.
That's our free consultant.
Scan, okay. I'll get that to you. Thank you, okay.
I think that closes the regular meeting.
I make a motion to go into non-public session. Oh, sorry.
Board of Selectmen, this has to do with
Oh, yes.
closed roads, class 6 roads, subject to gates and bars, and I know that some people in the commission have asked some questions. Highway department has asked some questions. I did go to the highway department, program is what the law is, run the town people. We don't have to discuss them, that's just kind of a packet of information. I don't know if too many people in town even aware that we have 6 class 6 roads.
Thank you.
Triggered? Triggered by a question.
Yeah, so we had an email come in to the
Good night.
Conservation Commission. Yep. Put it on my list, Bruce. I'll be retired someday. So I make a motion to go into non-public session per RSA 91A3 for the purpose of discussing land acquisitions that could be jeopardized by being done in public. Roll call. Well, Heather, you need to.
And we need to turn off.
Yeah, but I think we should take the vote before we turn off the public.
I'll second.
Okay, in favor, Andy? Heather? Rob?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Lise? Aye. Becky?
Aye.